Yeah, so now I'm gonna be talking about this 2007 RAV4 that I have. It has a check engine light with a P2420 code and the check and the all the and the scan tool. That code means that it has a Evap Emission system control circuit high, which basically mean that is either it have a open circuit or one of the sensors are not responding to the computer, or it's having a computer problem. Now this device is the leak detection pump. It is the device that controls the vapor that goes into it comes from the gas tank, that goes into the canister and goes back into the engine. Now this leak detection pump has a vapor pump inside of it. It have a vent valve that open and close, and it also have a pressure sensor in it that tells how much pressure is in the tank or how much pressure is in the canister. Now this device, I took it off. This is the old one that was on it, and I opened and checked that, and I realized that all the sensors inside were working perfectly. The pump was working good, the vent valve was working, and so that means this was not the problem. It either had an electrical problem. But anyway, I still bought a new one. I didn't want to put back this old one on it. I still seal it back, but I still bought a new one. So what I did, I installed a new one on it. After installing the new one, I drove the car and I still have the same code. So I realized that this wasn't really the problem, and I actually realized that once I opened it and see that everything was working fine inside there. So now what I have to do now is I have to try to diagnose something else by checking the electrical system. And checking the electrical system, I have to come under here. As you can see, that's a new leak detection pump right there, and it's bolted to the canister. Yep. And I'll have to take the electrical connector off, and once I do that, then I can try to start to diagnose by using my tester to run a wire from here to the control module, which is the ECM, and see if there's any open circuit between the wire, because actually what it said on the scan tool was that the vent valve was stuck in an open position. So I'm gonna have to see which one of the wires control the vent valve, and then from there I can move forward by trying to diagnose that wire to see if there's a broken open circuit or a broken wire, or if the computer that's having a problem. Yeah, so this is a diagram for the leak detection pump. Yeah, right here you have the vent valve, and the code and the scan tool is saying that the vent valve is stuck in an open position. What happened is the vent valve is closed once the system is running a test. It closes the vent valve, but usually the vent valve is usually at a normal normal operation, the vent valve will be left open. So when it's running the system test, the vent valve will be closed. Now over here is the pump. That's a vacuum pump. You know, that's a pump. It has a black wire with a white stripe on it, and it also has a black wire that runs to the ECU, and here you have in the middle you have the yellow, the purple, and the brown, and those wires are for the pressure sensor. Now back to the vent, because that's the one we're having trouble with. So now the vent wire is a plain white wire and a black wire. So now those are the two wires I'm gonna trace to see if they're having any issues. I'm gonna the vent wire, actually the white wire, actually run all the way to the ECM. It goes through two connectors, so I'm gonna trace that, figure it out, and then it goes into number 42 slot and the A connector on the ECM. So the ECM is actually in the engine bay, and that's where I'm gonna trace that white wire and the black wire also. So I'm gonna go under the car. I'm gonna go undo the plug for the undo the plug for the leak detection pump. I'm gonna find the white wire and that black wire that controls it. It's in the number 8 slot, and it goes all the way to the number 42 slot in the ECM. So I'm gonna trace that wire and see if there's an open circuit, and then I can figure out and try to diagnose whether it is a wire problem or it is a problem with the ECM. On the diagram, it shows the black and the plain white wire. So that's the wire I'm gonna try to locate to make sure I'm doing the correct one. I'm gonna check also the numbering, which is, it says number 8 for the white, and the black wire is like right next to it. So that's the one. So it's like 3, on the other side it's like 3 slots down for the white one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm about to connect a wire, a straight wire, directly to where the white one is, and then I'm gonna trace back that white wire all the way to the ECU, where I'm gonna try to see if I get a consistency from this plug all the way to the ECU. So from there I will know if there is a open circuit in the system, and then I can try and diagnose it and try to repair it from then. Yeah, so now that I'm at the ECU, the diagram also shows that it is the number 42 slot and the A socket. So that's the A socket right there in my hands, and I'm doing the number 42 slot. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna count, and I'm gonna start from the left all the way around, and as you can see, I'm counting. So I'm counting all the number, all the slots, and then when I get to 42, then that is the one I'm gonna try to make. I'm gonna see if that's a white wire, and then that is gonna be the one that I'm supposed to be, the wire was supposed to be connected to. So that's the one I'm gonna test for continuity. So right here is number 42. Yeah, that's the number 42, and on the other side it's that white wire. I've already stripped that wire because I've already counted it, and so that's the wire that I'm supposed to be testing to make sure I'm getting continuity from. I'm actually touching it right now and I'm not getting anything, so I turn my tester on, and the continuity is supposed to get a beep sound, and there's no beeping. And as you can see, I connect one of the tester wire to the main wire, to the wire that I run from the rear. I'm grounding it on the wire that comes to the ECU, and I'm not getting no signal. So basically this wire is showing me that there's no continuity, there's a broken line, or there's a disconnection or something going on there. So I'm gonna do a little further check just to make sure. Yeah, so this is the AK1 connector. This is one of the two connectors that comes from the sensors, and this is where I've tested this location to see if I get continuity from the rear of the vehicle, and there's no continuity from underneath there. So I'm gonna have to check a different location to see. So I'm just gonna follow the wire. If not, I'm just gonna run a new wire, you know, just to make sure. So I'm just checking these locations to see if these connectors are properly connected, and then I'm gonna move on to the next location from there. Now I've traced the wire over to the center console panel from here, and I've just decided that I'm gonna run a new wire, but I'm gonna run it from inside the car right here. So the connector that plugs into the leak detection pump comes inside the vehicle through a loom entrance right there. So that is where I am gonna connect that red wire. I connect that red wire there, and I'm gonna run it to the front of the car where the ECU is, and connect it to that number 42, because I'm not getting any signal, so that wire is probably damaged in the loom somewhere there. So as you can see, the wire is connected, and I'm gonna go to the front and I'm gonna connect this line that I run from the rear. I'm gonna connect that to the number 42 wire that's supposed to be coming from the vent valve around the rear. So that is the one that I'm gonna be connecting there, and then I'm gonna go around back and make sure I'm getting continuity from this new wire that I run. So now, as you can see, I connect the wire from the leak detection connector, and I'm gonna run it all the way around to the front, and as you can see, I'm getting a signal. I'm getting that continuity tone. Yes, and so that means now I'm getting signal that's going directly to that valve, that vent valve. So hopefully now that's the only problem it had, and I can able to clear the code and do a drive cycle, and see if this thing will eventually pass inspection, because my inspection is expired and I really need to pass the inspection, do the inspection on this thing right now. So I've bridged the wire because I wasn't getting any signal from it. It was like either broken or something. I actually didn't find the spot where it was broken, but I just decided to run a new wire, and it's not run permanent, it's just temporary, just to see if it works, and then afterwards I will then try to go back and do it properly. So I'm gonna go to the next step now. Yes, so now this is how I run the wire underneath. Yep, that's where I put it. As I said, I'm not gonna let it stay there. I'm gonna it's just temporary. If it works, then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna run it through one of those wire loom that goes through the firewall behind the engine, and I'm gonna run it under where the pedals at the driver's side, under the carpet, and then I'm gonna solder it the proper way, and then I'll leave it there permanently after that. But for now, I'm just trying to see if it works, and then once it works, then I'll go forward and do the inspection. Now all the monitors are ready except for evap system. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through this sensor, all these monitors already, fuel system, misfire, comprehensive component monitoring, catalyst okay, heating not available. So the evap system is the one that's not complete, it's incomplete. Now I've been driving this car like from 2 days ago, and I haven't got this evap system to complete its cycle. Now I've read a few things that you have to you have to drive this car for a certain time, and then you have to park it for 12 hours. So now that's what I'm gonna do. I just drove it around the place for like half an hour, and now I'm gonna park this car for 12 hours. So right now it's 7:22 p.m. Yeah, so I'm gonna park this now, shut it off, leave it here, and tomorrow morning I will come back and then I will drive it again and see what happens. They say you have to drive it for 16 minutes on the highway, then stop and idle for 3 minutes, then drive it for 8 minutes at city speed at like about 40 miles per hour. On the highway I try to maintain 55 to 65. So I have done it to the best the way I could. It's actually Friday evening, so it's not the best time to do these things. But anyways, I'm gonna park it now for the 12 hours, and then tomorrow I will see what happened if this monitor finally completed cycle, run all the tests that it needs to run tonight, and see if tomorrow. So let's see what happened tomorrow morning. Yeah, so now it's 8:23 a.m. It's been like 13 hours since I parked this car, so now I'm gonna try to start it and see if the check engine light comes back or it clears and ready for inspection. The light is not there, so let's see what happens now if the OBD comes on. Yep, finally monitor is good and I'm good to go do inspection. So I'm going straight to the inspection place right now. See, the evap system is not okay. So this is what you have to do. You have to allow this thing to sit for 12 hours for it to run its system test, and that's the only way you will get this thing to finish the monitoring and get ready for inspection. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna take it for inspection.